Hello and welcome to Your Call. It's the only show on NDTV television where you, the viewer, can ask your question directly to our special guests of the week. Here's how. You can just make a phone call on this dedicated number which is coming up on your screen right now. You can log on to our website, ndtv.com, go onto the Your Call page. You can access our accounts on Twitter and Facebook, or you can just walk down to our broadcast vans in major cities and ask your question directly, no holds barred. This week on Your Call, we are joined by two of India's best-known cardiac surgeons, Dr. Devi Shetty and Dr. Naresh Trehan. These are men who literally make the difference between life and death for thousands and thousands of Indians. Dr. Devi Shetty, Dr. Naresh Trehan, thank you both very much for joining us. Dr. Shetty, heart disease is now literally in our genes. We've seen that Indians are much more prone than other races to heart disease. Yet this is a fact most people don't know, and heart care is somehow considered as something which is out of reach for the majority of Indians. How are you and other cardiac surgeons like yourself working to change this?
First of all, India requires about 25 lakh heart surgeries to be done every year. And all the heart surgeons in the country put together, including me and Naresh, all of us together do not perform more than 80 to 90,000 heart surgeries. And what happens to the rest? They perish gradually over a period of time. The only way you can bring down the cost of healthcare is by increasing the number of patients who can access healthcare. That will only happen by having a low-cost health insurance. Then that can only happen by increasing the number of cardiologists and cardiac surgeons produced in the country. India produces only 80 cardiologists a year. US produces about 800 cardiologists a year. We need to be training at least 2,000 cardiologists a year. So this is the situation. Unless we address these anomalies of having adequately trained manpower and having a micro health insurance program, the same story will continue forever.
So Dr. Trehan, when Dr. Shetty describes it like that, the figures seem to be almost of emergency measures. It's almost a disease that you need to tackle in emergency proportions. How do we actually do that, and why is it just seen that this is something which is can only be afforded by the rich, that the size of your bank balance makes a difference between whether you can get your heart care or not?
So first of all, the realization that it's an epidemic and we are the heart disease capital of the world. Second, from picking up from what Dr. Shetty said, we need to reduce the cost. Absolutely, we can't keep going at increasing the cost the way it's happening. So increasing the number of doctors will help. The awareness that we can produce large numbers and then reduce the cost over a larger base.
Yes.
Also, the fact that insurance at different levels, like we were discussing earlier, like you have a Nano and a Jaguar in the Tata stable, that we should have a similar spread of insurance from the people who can afford it the least to the highest, so that there is cross-subsidization. So there are many techniques that can be pulled in. We need to get our act together to be able to think of how to accelerate the delivery of healthcare system in a more humane and affordable manner.
Let's just go across now to our first caller of the evening. A doctor has called in. Dr. Arora is joining us from Delhi. Go ahead with your question, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Dr. Arora calling from Delhi. My question is to you, Dr. Trehan. And I want to ask you that, you've done real good work of establishing this world-class hospital for cardiac care. But it is still out of reach for a common man. I mean, unless he has an insurance or something like that covering him up. So can you establish some more of such hospitals which are a little more affordable for common people?
Yeah, no, appreciate that. The basic thing is that we have now gone on to the next step of creating an institution which will have up to 1,800 beds, so that we can mitigate the cost of and spread it over a larger base to make it more and more affordable for the sections of society who would not be able to afford it otherwise. When you have larger institutions, you can actually cross-subsidize to a lesser or greater degree. So I think it is very possible, and it's very much top of our mind.
Tuba.com,